Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Today we're going to be hearing from Tom James, currently on loan at Wigan from Hibernian. Tom James moved to Hibs last summer when Paul Heckingbottom signed the then Yeovil defender. Since Jack Ross came in, chances have been limited for the defender, but now in the summer he completed a short-term loan move until January. Wigan needing defensive reinforcements, Tom James filling in there, playing just about every weekend since moving down south. The Welshman enjoying his time there, but obviously that time could be coming to an end very shortly, that loan due to expire in January. And in this one, he talks to us about his loan move to Wigan, his time at Hibs so far, what the future holds for him in January and beyond that, whether he could see himself returning to the Hibs fold in the new year or whether seeing out the remainder of the season in League One with Wigan is where he sees his future lying. We hope you do enjoy. Please do remember to subscribe to our channel and like the video. We've got plenty of content going out over the next weeks and coming days after that. We've got this today, but we've got plenty more exclusive content to come with players past and present. A couple of exciting ones lined up, so don't miss them. As well as that, we'll have all the Scotland build up next week as the playoff action takes place against Serbia, a massive one for the country as they aim to get back to their first major tournament since 1998, as well as this weekend, our usual Premiership reviews and previews, on top of the new League Cup action, which starts next week. So it's going to get really busy here on Not the Old Firm. You can check out all the content we have on that on our website, on Twitter as well, at Not the Old Firm, and on our YouTube channel here. But that's all the boring PR stuff out the way. I'll leave you with my chat with Tom. Please do remember to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and until next time, take it easy. So I'll just get started then. How's the sort of season been for you so far? It's obviously a very strange one for everyone involved.
Yeah, obviously start with wasn't really getting a look in at Hibs for whatever reason. I wasn't getting in teams or on the bench and stuff, so I was always going to be looking to get out and start playing again. But I obviously wanted to make sure that it was the right kind of place, and as soon as Wigan made themselves known, it was going to be pretty easy for me to say yeah. And then I think I drove down the day after I knew, and then played that Saturday, and got plenty of game times now. I can't remember how many games it is now, but played them all pretty much. Feeling fitter, feeling stronger, and I think as a personally, I'm pretty happy with how I've done. Getting back into the swing of things. It's just we as a team now need to start getting results.
The first game must have been a bit of a whirlwind for you because Hibs have played, started the season a lot earlier than the likes of Wigan did. So to go sort of the Thursday you're training at Hitsy and then Saturday you're playing for Wigan must have been quite the shock.
Yeah, it was a bit strange because I think they played 4 or 5 games Hibs by the time I came down here. Drove down on the Wednesday, trained on the Thursday, Friday, and then that was it. That was kind of like my season starting. So it was definitely different kind of start to season that I'm used to. But it's definitely something that I'm happy that I've done, and contracted here now until January, and we'll see what happens after that.
I know Wigan are obviously in League One, but it is sort of, some would argue, probably a Premier League sized club.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing really well in the Champ last year, and things off the pitch made them come down to League One. And it was not too long ago at all that they're playing in the Prem, and you can see all around the stadium and the training ground that they're really proud of their history and what they've done. And I think as a club, that's kind of where we wanted to go, is higher and higher, and get back to the good times that they've had before.
Has that just been a bit odd because you went from one big club up here in Hibs to go on loan to another one? Arguably, some Wigan fans will say watching this that it's bigger than Hibs. Must have been quite a shock for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite cool for me personally to be able to play for be a part of 2 big clubs. I honestly really enjoyed when I was playing up at Hibs, and things happen where things change and opinions change where we don't get to play anymore. So yeah, the fact that I get to come down to Wigan and play here, and such an unbelievable stadium that they've got and good training facilities here, I'm pretty lucky to be able to do that.
League One's an odd one this year. It's not like, obviously it's always a competitive league, but when you look at the likes of like Sunderland and Hull in it below the table, they've got others up the top of it just now. There's a lot of big teams in there.
Yeah, there's a handful of teams who have been good championship teams and teams who have been in the Prem, so the standard's very good. And there's so many games in this league. You're playing Saturday, Tuesday most weeks. So it is quite demanding physically. So personally, I just need to try and stay as fit as I can and keep playing as many games as possible.
Is this the highest you've played consistently in England, level wise?
Yeah. I played. I think it was 50 odd games. I played about 100 games for Yeovil in 2 years, but that was League Two. So this is a step up from that. And I think the main difference is probably the speed of everything, the speed of obviously the physical side of running and the tackling side, but everyone thinks a lot quicker in this league to what I was used to. So it took a little bit of adjusting to, but I feel like I've got used to it now, and hopefully I can just keep going and getting better and better.
You obviously had to make that adjustment going from Yeovil to Hibs. How was that move initially? Because I think the thing when you move to a club like Hibs, obviously it's well documented up here how massive they are, but for somebody coming down perhaps not as akin with a history, I'm probably sure you found that out very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. To be honest with you, I didn't know a whole lot about Scottish football. I knew that there were big clubs like Hibs and obviously Celtic, Rangers, Aberdeen and that. But I didn't know a massive amount about the history. So I did look it up like on YouTube and stuff and seen all like the Scottish Cup final where obviously Dave scored that goal. So I got a little idea of it just before I moved up. And then when I came up and I met the manager at the time and all the other staff, they put me through like a little PowerPoint and showed me all kind of stuff like that. And you really do get an idea of how big it is and what a good club it is.
And it was Paul Heckingbottom that brought you. How did you find working with him? Obviously, it started really well for him, but obviously it didn't really go the way that MD at the club would have wanted it to.
Yeah, I personally got on really well with him. Obviously, he was the man to bring me up, and he was the one who showed me around the training ground and showed me the PowerPoint on how he wants me to play and all that kind of stuff. So I think his attention to detail was really good. And yeah, like you said, it didn't go to plan like him or anyone else would have wanted to, but I personally got on well with him.
Because it was sort of players like yourself who was bringing in. There was always a bit of rumours about players who were still at the club, but you seemed to fit the model of player he wanted, and you played a lot early on in his reign.
Yeah. I think he brought in a few of us, and obviously you look at Doige now, and he's flying. He's doing really well, scoring goals, and he's probably one of the first names on the tee sheet now. So obviously it's not worked out quite as well for me, but for some players like him and obviously Joe Newell as well, they're both doing really well there now.
Doige must be one, Christian, referring to his first name actually. For you personally, obviously being a fellow Welshman, must be really nice to see him doing well and arguably pushing for a national team call-up these days.
Yeah, definitely. When we first moved up there, we were living together for a couple of months and traveling in together, so we got to know each other really well, and I still speak to him most days now. So yeah, seeing him doing as well as he is good for me to see, and I was quite surprised when I didn't see him have a Welsh call-up himself. But I mean, if he keeps doing what he's doing, scoring goals like he is, then he's going to be knocking on the door more and more, and hopefully for him, he gets the call-up.
I'm not putting Doige's form down to how Hibs have done in the past year, but sort of since he started scoring goals and things elsewhere have started clicking into place, Hibs seem to have really took a turn for the better in maybe the last 12 months. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, he's like he's one of those old school number nines. Like, you know what you'll get from him, but it's so hard to defend against. He's that target man that teams don't like playing against. Good in the air, and he's obviously really quick and he gets goals. So I think having him playing so much and doing so well for Hibs it kind of gives confidence for the rest of the players that they can give him the ball and they can trust him and he can link in play with other players.
Just with your summer as well, obviously you've moved down to Wigan now. When did you sort of think that, right, I maybe need a loan move here when games started to look a bit more limited?
I mean, it probably stemmed from last season because obviously I was involved in squads last season, but I wasn't playing. I think I played 2 games in the time the gaffer took over. So it was always probably in the back of my mind that I might need to think about moving on at the start of this season, and then obviously coming back at the start in pre-season, and it was kind of a similar story. So I was talking to my agent and family and stuff about what I could do, and then literally on a Wednesday night at about, I think it was like 9 o'clock, I got the phone call, and then I was literally driving down the next day. So for me, I was lucky that it wasn't like a stressful, long process to get out. It was literally just before I knew it, I was training down here. So in that sense, it was pretty good.
Edinburgh, I mean, a lot of players that do move from down south and elsewhere say they really like the lifestyle in Edinburgh. Were you also that enjoying life in the capital?
Yeah, no, I love Edinburgh. I was living in Leith, so I was just like 10 minutes outside city centre. But yeah, I did love it. It was obviously very different this summer to what it was last year with having Fringe and that on, with so much to do. But now I've moved down here. I'm living in Manchester, so I've moved to another good city. So hopefully, when all this stuff is cleared over, then I'll have another good city to experience.
It looks like it'll be a while. I mean, you know more than most just in terms of the stuff footballers have to go through. I'm assuming you've probably had swabs put up your nose twice a week and all that, and all the other goings on with this current climate.
Yeah, definitely. Had plenty of those COVID tests just to make sure that everyone's doing all right, and it's not nice at all, obviously, but it's something that needs to be done for the safety of the players and the staff and everyone around you. So it's not ideal, but we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully it can all be brushed over soon, and then everyone can get back to normal life.
As normal life, I've spoke to a few players about that. It just seems so very far away in terms of, I mean, the way it looks. Unfortunately for you, you probably won't get to experience like actual Wigan fans watching in the stadium. They're all watching through laptops and through devices like this and such like.
Yeah, it is a shame because speaking to the other players and people here, they say how good the Wigan fans are, and if they're not allowed back in this season, then yeah, maybe you're right. I might not get to experience it, but I mean, that's just one of the things that we as players have to deal with now, is not playing with fans in the stadium, knowing that they're watching on laptops and stuff at home. So we just got to kind of get on with stuff like that and yeah, do our best.
Do you feel that support from fans, even though they are watching on streams and things like that? Like if you go online, social media and things like that, and you still feel supported by the fans, if that makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, most players have got social media, so you'll see all the support and stuff on there. Try not to look at too many negative stuff because that can be bad. But yeah, we definitely see the positive sides of it, and we're all hoping that fans can come in as soon as possible.
Just obviously, you're only there until January, and whilst I'm sure you'll be focused on the games ahead. Have you thought much beyond January? Because there'll be some decisions that will need to be made, of course.
Yeah, I've not thought too much about it. I try and take it all like day by day, game by game, just concentrating on the immediate future. But if I'm playing here and I'm happy and the manager's happy here, then I'd definitely be happy enough to carry on doing what I'm doing and getting as many games as possible.
Because Hibs' defence this season, whilst obviously you'd be able to compete, I'm sure no bother, it has been, along with Kevin Nisbet and Christian Doidge, their defence has been probably the main positive for them this season.
Yeah, obviously, before I came down here, I was watching all the games and they were unreal. And I mean, it shows when you see, what was it, 3 of them got Scottish call-ups the other day. So I mean, it proves that they're players that should be playing week in, week out, and fair play to them for getting their Scottish call-ups as well.
Just for you in Wigan as well, as obviously it's been a really tough few months last year even for Wigan. is moving, is trying to get back into the Championship a reasonable goal, or is it just trying to sort of stabilise the club a wee bit?
I think it's probably a bit of both. I don't see why us as players can have why we can't think we can go higher and get as high up the league as we can. If we're playing well and getting results, then great. I think all the stabilising is for the people upstairs to do. We shouldn't really be thinking about that too much. We need to concentrate on getting results, getting points, and getting as high up the league as possible. And if that means we're right up there towards the end, then perfect.